Alright guys, we are back for another Dokkan battle video. So, we have got a ton of info from the 9th anniversary fan meetup last night. Again, just a plethora of kind of like very important info we could talk about. A lot of things are going to happen during the 9th anniversary. Some things like EZA 2 or a further EZA process, they kind of told, told people or at the actual question portion of the fan meetup that it is coming at some point. But, I mean, who knows if it's actually going to take place during the actual anniversary. So we can start with sort of like these good looks right here. Yeah, I mean, this looks good. I mean, I'm not going to be upset about LR Blue Gogeta and then LR Full Power Super Saiyan Broly. Not at all. Yeah, because their transformations... Like, these are the exact characters we got in 2018. Just now they're LR with, presumably supreme animations, I would imagine. Part 1 anniversary headliners do not typically have weaknesses in their animations. We'll see, though, because this is going to be a Dokkan Fest plus a carnival kind of like celebration here. Now, the main thing I want to talk about with this video is going to be UI Sign Goku. Actually, there's one more thing I want to pull up. All right, right here. We have kind of like, we had the data download. This is everything. Well, it was everything that was going to be taking place in the anniversary countdown, right? Typically, the way this works, I mean, for anniversaries and stuff like that, that's why people asked if I would be attending Battle Hour, and I said, hell no, I'm not, because every year, typically, the 27th, which also just by sheer coincidence happens to be me and Gresh's birthday, on the 27th is usually the Part 1 anniversary data download takes place. Many years in a row, the 27th was the Part 1 data download. Then, of course, there'd be a follow-up data download, which would include, kind of like the banners and the Dokkan Fest characters, banning and stuff like that, right? But we had, the week before, we get the data download for the countdown. And then sort of like as we are moving through the week, right, like, we're doing the countdown. This is why, for the last, I don't know, a couple days or week or however long we've been getting details, I've been saying, all right, it's obviously going to be Gogeta. Like, he for sure is one of the characters. I wasn't super sure what the other one was going to be. I was thinking Beast Gohan, because it's like they got to do him, but they actually kind of, I mean, I don't know if I want to use the phrase they had the balls, but like they were like, all right, we'll drop a villain in Part 1. Now, Broly is kind of like a villain with quotations, right? He's a Saiyan, right? Like, so that's something to keep in mind, but they still did do Gogeta plus Broly in Part 1. I think it's a really good decision. I like it. Now, we have the actual countdown, right? So this is basically just going through Dragon Ball Super, right? Like, we have the start with Battle of Gods. Well, I guess it does skip Resurrection F, huh? Then we have, Universe 6 for 7 tournament. Then, of course, we have the 2 right here for the Goku Black Arc. And then, of course, we have the 3 for the Tournament of Power. We have Angel, Golden Frieza. We have Jiren. And then we have the finale of Goku and Frieza. So, the fact that this was one day to the 9th anniversary was pretty, like, of course, like, so, this is the climax of the Turn of Power. They're not going to go from climax into, all right, now that we've done the climax, now we're going to backtrack and go grab UI Goku for a Part 1 headliner, right? So what they're going to do here, actually, is STR UI Goku is going to be getting an EZA, and it is going to take place during the countdown. Now, I didn't think this was going to happen because we already had the actual countdown data download. So I guess this is just one of those things where they wanted this to be a surprise, a secret. So they held back on it to announce it during the fan meetup. And then they're just going to have kind of like an extra data download. Now, typically the way it works all year long, a lot of people kind of like don't realize this, is there's basically a data download every week, right? Like once a week you'll get the data download and it's either like an EZA character or like now we got the Dokkan Fest or blah, 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 blah. Typically the only time there's multiple data downloads in 1 week is during special occasions, usually Worldwide Download Celebration or Anniversary. I believe the Superhero Celebration also did last year, but of course that's, again, like a super special celebration. So that's what we're going to get. Now, I don't know when the Part 1 data download is going to happen because the countdown starts tomorrow. So 14 hours is when it begins. The actual countdown. And then, of course, the 29th is when part 1 of the anniversary is going to begin. But what's funny about this, the anniversary begins on the 29th. The stream where they're showing Gogeta and Broly is on the 27th for me. So it's like, that's what's crazy. They're going to do the stream, and it's like 2 days until... I think the reason the stream is so early is because they're showing it at Battle Hour. Like kind of like during that 2-day window of Battle Hour, they are actually showing the anniversary characters. But I mean, yeah, I think we're gonna see everything, and then there's still basically 2 days until they're gonna come out, unless Gogeta and Broly are gonna come out before the actual countdown is done, which I don't think is gonna happen. So we should be getting details for UI Goku and an extra data download with him literally any day. Like, I bet you we could see UI Goku tonight, like his details in 24 hours. Because, again, the stream is on the 27th. The 29th is the actual official start of the anniversary. So, I mean, I would guess maybe the part 1 data download would be Friday? Or maybe it will still just be the 27th? Like, I'm not really too sure, because stuff falls in the weekend and Battle Hour is taking place, and the actual live stream is early this year. I'm not super concrete on what a lot of these dates and stuff like that are going to look like in terms of where the data downloads are going to hit, right? So we'll see. But I expect we'll see UI Goku within the next couple of days, because he is going to come out during the countdown. It does make sense. I mean, because we're kind of, like, during the countdown, we're kind of going through the Turn of Power. There is the 9th anniversary fan meetup event right there, which is actually going to go live once... the countdown officially begins, right? So, I mean, that's going to be pretty good. I do like the idea or concept of them giving us content during the countdown. That was really good about the Worldwide Download Celebration countdown as well, right? So that's going to be very, very fun. So we have that. Again, Gresh mentioned that. We looked at that. Now we can actually talk about UI Goku himself. I do have... I mean, damn, I don't want to go too crazy, but I do have pretty high hopes for him. We've seen Yellow Coin LR EZA characters recently be very good. Now, I definitely did sour on LR Dragon Fist a little bit, because it's like, this might sound weird to say, but I feel like he's not bringing very much to the team. Even though he could drop 30 million attack stats, it's not like, I mean, you can do those early, but then he just gets crushed. It feels like a wonky character to me, Dragon Fist. Like, I like it's an interesting concept, but it would work, I think, significantly better on like a new like LR or some like a summonable character that they just make a little bit stronger. But we have LR Goku Black, who I think is pretty good. We have 16, 17, 18. I really like them. We've had a lot of Yellow Coin LR EZAs this year be very good. And the thing about UI Goku, I mean, being a 70% dodge character just puts you a step above most other characters, right? Like, it means UI Goku, like this, he's going to be more effective for longer than many characters. As the bosses begin to get hit so hard that characters can't tank it anymore, these dodge characters can persist. One reason that STR Blue Kaioken Goku, I thought, was viable, even with these old-ass, terrible turn-up power characters, was because 2 of them, STR UI Goku and AGL UI Goku, were 70% dodge characters. And when most of the game can't even live, even if they get hit at all, it doesn't matter if they're dodge or die, because, again, most of the game is dying anyway. You got a 70% chance to live, so it's not even that ridiculous of a drop-off. But, I mean, judging by how these Yellow Coin LR EZAs are, like, I'm expecting this guy to potentially be quite good. I mean, we could jump this up to 150%, maybe give him the 70% dodge as permanent. Although this, I don't feel like this comes into play very often. Has this ever really been a huge factor for this guy? I want to say no, but I mean, it would still be good to get rid of that. I mean, they probably will keep this up. They have had a recent history of giving a lot of characters guaranteed dodge at points. So, I mean, I could definitely see something for UI Goku. Maybe if he dodges 3 attacks in a turn, he guaranteed dodges the rest of the attacks in a turn or something like that. That could be an interesting ability. So it's like, you get the first 3 in, and then everything else is dodged. I feel like that ability actually is kind of balanced, because typically the boss opens with the super, right? So you would be dealing with the super when he doesn't have the guaranteed dodge. And typically, bosses have attacks spread all out. So, to really get value out of that, you'd need the boss to be attacking one slot, 5, 6, 7 times, which, can happen against the big boss's phase, right? Where, like Omega is attacking, 10 times per turn and stuff like that. But typically, that ability, I feel like that ability sounds more broken than it actually is. Unless it would work like Hirudegarn, where the guaranteed dodge will carry over to the next turn. Stuff like that. Now, one good thing about UI Goku, by the way, is this. He's on a million teams. He has a great link set, right? Like, let's take a look at this. He's linking good, by the way. Ding, 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 ding. I bet you LR Blue Gogeta's gonna have a very similar link set, so he's in there. We got the Blue Vegito characters. This guy and this guy, these guys are easying. Guaranteed. It should be like part 3 somewhere around like February 20th or something like that. Like, that's kind of like the tentative date that UI Goku and Evolution Blue Vegeta will actually be easying. I think that this character potentially could easy during this celebration as well. The theme of the celebration is super, as Gresh mentioned, but I do like him continuing this, that it may be other interpretations of super that they use to decide on content to implement during the celebration. We have seen them be very loose with some of the themes before, right? So I bet Goresh is probably not too far off the mark with this, right? Like, would it really shock me if we saw like some sort of like Janemba or Super Gogeta because they're connected to Super Gogeta, right? Like, we could see something like that, for example, right? But I do think that UI Goku is going to be put into a position where he will be able to be very helpful. He's on so many category teams. His link set is so good. He has this really strong ability, 70% chance to dodge, which works incredibly effective in the red zone meta. One of the biggest things for this guy, as you guys can see, is that he does not really have super attack effects. Just that, he disables enemy guard if he's attacking an AGL boss. That's pretty much it. Right, so this guy getting strong super attack effects, he could be a real player here. So here's the 200% leader teams he's on. A lot of these characters are just very iffy. You're not running his team, you're not running their team, you're not running their team, you're not running his team. We got it pretty much to just this trio, but, he still is on all these 170% as well, right? Superhero, Earthbred Fighter, like, he's on all these teams. It would not shock me if Gogeta was like a Kamehameha. Could Gogeta be Kamehameha 200%? Couldn't you see that? I could. 200%, because this looks like the like a Final Flash Kamehameha or something to me, right? Like the final Kamehameha. I saw some people saying it's the attack where he shoots out. It's just like he shoots out all those blue balls and then he goes into the Soul Punisher. But I don't know if that's what that actually is, because this to me seems like he's doing the final Kamehameha. We'll see. They did show some animations there last night. And some of the people who attended said there's a lot of Dokkan original stuff in Gogeta's kit. So I do think this is probably the final Kamehameha, which would put him on Kamehameha, and then I think he could be the Carnival 200% Kamehameha leader, which, for Anniversary, that makes a ton of sense to me. So, let me know what you guys think of LR STR UI Goku. I do have high hopes for this guy. He could really help some of these teams out. And again, I expect that we'll see him within the next day or two. I do not think that this guy is going to be just off for, we're waiting on him. Because if they're really going to drop him during the countdown, I would expect it would be soon. So, we'll see. Let me know what you guys think, and I'll catch y'all next time.